at 4 to 5 p.m. This is Premium Times Election Special, live on our Facebook and YouTube platforms, Monday to Friday at 4 to 5 p.m.
Hi, welcome to Premium Times. Hi, welcome to Premium Times Election Special. I'm Titi Lokwe Fadari. On this show, we bring to you fact checks, explainers, analysis surrounding the 2023 general elections. And before we go into the main segment, I'll be sharing with you some trending political stories making the round. I start on a gloomy note with the death of the Labour Party Enugu East senatorial candidate, Oyibochukwu, who was killed by gunmen on Wednesday evening alongside 5 supporters who were inside his vehicle. The killing comes barely 3 days before the senatorial election, which is scheduled to be held this Saturday, 25 February. May his soul rest in peace. The second political story is an analysis published by Premium Times on the vague promises made by candidates of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the rule of law. Based on Premium Times' review of their manifestos, there is little assurance that the deterioration of the rule of law and human rights on the watch of the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari administration will be better addressed when they take over. Lastly, all 18 registered political parties in Nigeria on Wednesday signed a peace pact on the 2023 general elections in Abuja. The pact entails that all political parties accept the outcome of the elections or seek legitimate means of redress in the event of divergent positions. Next up is my colleague Festus Owete, who will be interviewing spokesperson of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the already concluded presidential campaigns. Stay tuned.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Premium Times Election Special. My name is Festus Owete. Today we're exploring the presidential campaigns and chances of the candidates. I have with me here Yakubu Lamai. Yakubu Lamai is a member of the Media Directorate of Progressive Congress.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Me. Thank you.
We also have Frank Schreibu. Frank Schreibu is the spokesperson of the presidential candidate of the PDP. You're welcome.
Thank you, Festus. How do you do?
Yeah, I think I should start with the APC man.
Okay.
Yeah, I should start with you. Could you please tell us the core message of your party for this election, and how did the voters receive it?
Well, first I'd like to, on behalf of our candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, would like to thank you very much and thank Premium Times, for coming to give a renewed hope. Basically, it's been distilled into a manifesto of 80 pages. That's the manifesto of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. Now, renewed hope, indicates some rekindling or restoration or carrying through with a light that's started shining, but you want to make it shine even brighter. So the basis is, number one, APC would like to consolidate on the good strides of the Buhari administration and then build upon it, make it brighter by bringing new aspects to it, and of course, bringing certain innovations as well. Every country is dynamic. The problems that every country faces at the beginning of every tenure, it's very different when Buhari came in. And what Asiwaju, hopefully, by God's grace, hopes to inherit. Basically, it's very different. We've gone through COVID-19, even in Europe recently, they call it the winter of discontent, because of so much strikes everywhere across Europe and so on. So all of the, economic challenges, because when he came in, for instance, Buhari, 13 local government areas in this country were held hostage by Boko Haram. Now, but between then and now, a lot has actually happened. There's been huge infrastructural revolution and development and so on. So looking at that, we felt it's time to distill what has happened in the last near 8 years and see aspects to improve upon it. So the message of this campaign has been renewal of hope, to bring to bear better ideas, that will pull through what has actually started.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Shaibu, what is the core message of your party, the PDP?
Well, the core message of our party was coming from the hopelessness or renewed hopelessness of the APC. And it's basically about recovery of Nigeria. We need to rescue and recover Nigeria from the hopelessness, the bastardization, the maladministration of the APC government in the last 7.5 years, where we recorded deaths, tears, hunger. As we sit in this studio, if I pick my brother Yakubu my phone now, you will see that he has not less than 50 text messages asking him for urgent 2K, urgent 3K. The same to every soul in this studio. You understand? So it's based on that, particularly as it relates to insecurity in education, health, then most cogently and importantly, devolution of powers. So our messaging, Atiku's messaging is built on a 5-point agenda that he has been talking about, and it's entitled My Covenant with Nigerians. And this covenant with Nigerians is a commitment to duty, to say, look, this is what I will do. We need to first rescue Nigeria from the hands of this do-nothing APC leadership, who now pride themselves as coming with what they call renewed hope, instead of completing it as renewed hopelessness. So you first have to rescue, then we now recover. And that's when he now said, look, in doing this, the first thing to do is to take a look at security. Not like any other candidates. Atiku, even before he picked his nomination form of the PDP presidential primary election, released his working document, My Covenant with Nigerians, to show preparedness for the task ahead. Unlike other candidates who read out their documents, who were struggling and gathered from scratching from different documents to put together what they now call their manifesto. We had a manifesto. We were prepared. Only 2 days ago, something happened, and it took me back to our working document, Atiku's working document, his plan entitled My Covenant with Nigerians. 2 days ago, I got a call from one of my staff. I am a school owner. I'm a teacher. And a member of the staff in my school, may her soul rest in peace, called me 2 days ago at 6:45 a.m. She dressed for work. On coming out of her apartment, a young man, apparently under the influence of drugs, and that is one of the reasons we say, look, anybody associated with drug abuse or drug trading should not come near the presidency of Nigeria. The guy held her by the neck and stabbed her on the lap.
Just yesterday?
Just 2 days ago.
2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Now, on rushing the girl to the hospital, I know I'm giving this story because I'm one of the most heartbroken persons, except for the fact that I have deep respect for Premium Times. I have deep regard for this institution called Premium Times because you have taken journalism to a different level in Nigeria and in Africa at large. You understand? And it's based on that I am in the studio. If not ordinarily, I am mourning. Now, on rushing her to hospital, the doctor of the hospital, they went to send until they get what they called a police report, they were not going to attend to her. She lost so much blood that by the time the test results came out, her PCV level was very low. After administering 2 pints of blood, she was able to recover a little. And they said, the doctor told her, sorry, we don't have the facility to keep you here overnight because we don't have beds for you. They asked her to go home. And at 6 a.m. yesterday morning, I got a call from the sister. How are you doing? How is my staff? How is your sister doing? And she said, yes, they are in hospital. I said, great. So how is she responding to the and she said, we don't have good news for you. What is the issue? She said, we lost her. Now, that is the level of decadence. So the 2023 election is a referendum on the maladministration of the APC in the last 7.5 years. A referendum on insecurity, a referendum on poverty, a referendum on the deposit of our health system. If our health system were working, if security, if lives and property were secure, I wouldn't have lost Clementina. Today she is no more. Her family are distraught and heartbroken. I am worse off because the children, the little kids she tends to at the early years learning center in my school, I don't know how to communicate that to them. As a manager, we took a decision not to even put up, an obituary notice. We only put up a private, notice to our parents in their respective WhatsApp platforms. What we have on our plate is an extreme sickness. And you cannot cure an extreme sickness with a moderate medicine. An extreme sickness is as a moderate and extreme cure. Someone cannot have typhoid fever and you administer chloroquine, which is meant for malaria, or give anti-malaria, or capqueen, or any of the queens. You cannot cure the person. So you need a leader who is prepared. You need a leader who is coherent. You need a leader who has got the verb. You need a leader who has presented himself for interrogation from the people, by the people he wants to lead. Not a leader who avoids the people, who does not want to be interviewed, who does not want to be interrogated. So you cannot get a job without an interview. You need an interview. As people have subjected himself for public scrutiny, his document is in the public space. You understand? So that is what we are here to do. It is to rescue and to recover and rescue Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shaibu. We'll have to take a quick break now. Please stay tuned as we go on this short break. Thank you very much.
This is Premium Times Election Special. End of campaigns. This is Premium Times Election Special. This is Premium Times Election Special. This is Premium Times Election Special. This is Premium Times.
Okay. Okay. You're welcome back. This is still Premium Times Election Special. We still have in the studio Mr. Yakubu Lamai, a member of APC Media Directorate, and Frank Shaibu, the Special Assistant Communications to the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. So let's continue. I want to let me go back to you.
Yes.
Do you believe Nigeria needs to be rescued?
Well, first I'd like to say that my good friend Frank, both of us went to University of Jos, and apart from that, I am a professional spokesperson. So if I was going to speak, I would not dabble into a lot of emotional tantrums or melodrama or braggadocio like he's been doing. Yeah. Basically, when Barack Obama was contesting in the United States of America, he said something which I think we should apply in this country. We should move away from the politics of bitterness, the politics of hauling, condescending words at ourselves. Timi Dakolo says in his song, "We believe in Nigeria and the promise it holds." Now, the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, I went to his house in Maryland, in America, when I was studying in the United States of America. Now, there are certain things that are cogent about leadership, and some of which we shouldn't actually bring to this particular table. I have always said the brick brat is not necessary. Let's face the issues. And the issues are very sacred, sacrosanct, and factual. One, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the person who presented Atiku Abubakar in 2007 under the flagship of the ACN, the Action Congress. He's talking about the fact that Atiku Abubakar had a manifesto that was ready-made, some sort of a unique blueprint. He should revisit the Action Congress manifesto, which Atiku Abubakar used in that particular election.
2007.
When he left the PDP. And then, the same sort of thing moved on till this particular point. So if we're looking at the, either the nationalistic outlook in this country or the understanding of the kernels of the problems of this country, let's be constructive enough to know that there are political players, but there's also consistency. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been there from the days of Nadeko. He has trenchantly fought in the trenches, to rescue democracy from the military. And it's on the basis of that actually Atiku Abubakar, at one of the times that he was flip-flopping, flipped into the ACN, and the ACN gave him the platform. Now, if you're talking about parrying or running away from, questions, Bola Tinubu at that particular time, in 2011, went over to the same Adamawa where Atiku Abubakar was from and gave Nuhu Ribadu, the ticket as well. In 2015, he gave another person, from the north, Muhammadu Buhari, a Fulani like Atiku Abubakar, a Fulani like Nuhu Ribadu, a Fulani like myself. He gave him all of that. So what we're talking about here is beyond sentiments. It's beyond a Nigeria that has to be rekindled. Now, he's talking about recovery and hopelessness. I'd like to extend my heartfelt, condolences to the family of the lady that really lost her life. But please remember that when Buhari ascended the mantle of leadership in 2015, 13 local government areas around Maiduguri had hoisted on them the Boko Haram flag. Here in Abuja that we're sitting in Premium Times studio, here and now that we're in this particular studio, people were beginning to become afraid that sooner than later, Boko Haram was going to take over this place. The stories you would hear about the refugees there, I did a documentary there about what they were going through. You would find where these people would attack them. You will sit there, they will rape your wife, rape your daughter, and take them with them. Now, right now, since Buhari came, and chase them out. There's no local government that is under the control of Boko Haram.
Well, that is still being disputed.
No, but the thing is Abuja not safer now than it was in 2015? We're all Nigerians. We're all Nigerians. Even crime itself metamorphoses. Every country goes through. Lee Kuan Yew took 30 years to move Singapore from third world to first world. And when you attack crime at this particular level, it might metamorphose from terrorism to banditry. It might go from banditry to kidnapping. And then it goes on and on and on like that. What you're supposed to do is evolve clear-cut new measures to tackle. And this is what is in the listening document of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right.
That is why...
Mr. Shaib,
Yes.
I don't want you to respond to that.
To respond to what?
What I'm saying, what I'm saying,
So I should respond and set the record straight.
yeah, you see, let's
I should set the record straight.
this conversation.
You can't gag me. You can't tell me that you want me to
we're not
respond
trying to
that.
gag you.
No.
Nobody
I should.
gag
No,
you.
I want to educate him on certain things he has raised, particularly as it relates to hold on.
Because I think we have other things to
With all due
discuss.
respect.
No, he called
Yeah.
me in. He called me in.
With all due respect.
Yes, he called me
All
in.
right, that's all right. That's all right. But I think we should discuss other things.
No, and I
Let's-
think
let's-
let's set some ground
we need to
Okay,
see.
okay. Let's finish with
Let's-
this.
let's set some ground rules.
Mr. Lamai.
No, you are not the anchor. You're a guest here, so you finish speaking.
Mr. Lamai, just go
So
ahead.
you can't set the rules. He said they should set the rules.
Calm
You
down.
were
Mr.
talking.
Lamai,
This is not
Mr. Lamai,
PDP
just in 1 minute.
Democrat conversation. This is
You can-
democracy.
Mr. Lamai,
Beautiful,
just-
beautiful, Yakubu.
Mr.
Listen,
Lamai.
Listen,
No.
In 1 minute.
If you
It is not a
want
monologue.
education
Can you-
about broadcasting,
No, you
Mr.
cannot.
Lamai, in
I
1
can
minute.
educate you about broadcasting.
You
We're
cannot.
stood-
You cannot. He's the anchor. You cannot.
Mr. Lamai and Mr. Shaib, I am the.
We're having a conversation,
Yeah. So
and if we're ruled,
in 1 minute, just round off your presentation. speech.
what I'd like for you to say is, please set ground rules for us. If
Yeah.
you're going to give me 5 minutes, give them 5
Okay,
minutes.
okay, all right.
I don't want somebody to ramble on from cogency to melodrama like we're on Civil War. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Please, let's stay with the issues and stick with it.
All
right.
What about education?
Oh,
We would have a better forum to deal with ourselves at the level of education.
Okay.
I am up and equal to the task.
Okay, Mr. Shaib, in 1 minute, can you respond?
You
to
cannot. You can't say that.
no.
No, listen. With profound respect, Festus, you can't possibly tell me in 1 minute I should respond to that.
No, because
Listen, with profound respect to you. When he started speaking, he used all his time to address Mr. Shaibu and the PDP. So it behoves on me to use my time to do whatever I want to do.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. You see, first off, when you say that we should focus on the issues, what are the issues? It's just like a woman who prepares ogbono soup. Because you know that, okay, he needs okra, he needs fish, he needs beef. Should that just be it? No. He needs okporoko, he needs stockfish and other things to add to it. Those are the condiments, maggi, pepper, and all of that makes ogbono soup. Everything we have talked about here boils down to the issue. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is very clear and non-ambiguous. The mental capacity of a candidate is one of the requirements to aspire for the position of president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if a man says a town hall, bala blue, and all of that rubbish, should those things not form part of the issues? There are issues. They are germane, very germane. Or a man who's at the public space, a man wants to aspire to be president of my country. And they're singing the anthem of my country. He raises his hands. Should I not come to question his mental state? Or a man who says he wants to change the institution of my country from back to west, should I not come to question his mental capacity? So you cannot possibly sit down and begin to arrogate yourself the powers to talk about what the issues should be and what the issues should not be. And taking a look at the politics of the United States of America. With profound respect, the governors of the APC have already confessed to the fact that they have a failed leadership and they have failed Nigerians. By publicly attacking the policies they conceived, they gave birth to, delivered to Nigerians, nurtured it, Let me use the monetary policy and the fuel scarcity as working hypothesis. And with profound respect, it is the policy of the APC government, led by their president and APC president, the Naira swap. First of their candidates was in Abeokuta, the same location where he told Nigerians that President Muhammadu Buhari cried 3 times on national television after he lost presidential elections, until he came to his rescue and made him president. He went back to the same location in clear and unambiguous terms. He said that the monetary policy, the Naira swap, and the redesign of the Naira, as well as the fuel scarcity, was orchestrated to stop him from becoming president. It was about Bola Tinubu. It was not about Nigerians. So when they turned around to swing it, to begin to talk about Nigerians, and it was that, oh, Nigerians are suffering, it's in the interest of Nigerians, and all of that, oh, they were just afterthoughts. It is about the interest of their candidate who is desperate to become president at all costs. And the APC, with profound respect, I didn't interject.
Please, just hold on.
Do this. You say you're a professional, and I know you to be one. You say with profound respect, the governors of the APC states did not just try to bamboozle, muzzle, harass, intimidate, blackmail the president into changing the policy, their own policy. They proceeded to the Supreme Court. We heard at multiple times where the governors elected on the platform of the APC called their president of the APC names, including former chairmen of their political parties. So suddenly, we can't sit in this studio and begin to feign ignorance that, look, everything the APC government has done is right. No, sir. We cannot. They have confessed to this, that their government has been a failure, that they failed in leading this country. They created this mess of Naira swap and Naira redesign. They should own it. They should live with it. That's among other things, other problems they have created for the people. They said banditry is talking about, kidnapping, nothing assists. I just gave you a case in point. Only yesterday I lost one. Only yesterday, that's close to me. Only God knows the number of people who have died or who have so many cases, unreported cases. Most people don't have this privilege. So the issue is, we are talking about issues about Nigeria. Anyone who aspires to be president of Nigeria must be qualified, must possess all the qualities that one should possess. So it is not enough to sit down to say we want to draw rules for who.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We will take another break. When we return, we discuss other issues.
Women and youth participation in politics, re-election cases, analysis, interviews, fact checks, and many more. This is Premium Times Election Special. Women and youth participation in politics, re-election cases, analysis, interviews, fact checks, and many more. This is Premium Times Election Special. Women and youth participation in politics, re-election cases, analysis, interviews, fact checks, and many more. This is Premium Times Election Special. women and youth participation in politics.
It's not possible for PDP to take over in 2023. Is it not better for we to prefer PDP to come back to embezzle and spread the money outside?
My focus is person, not ethnic, not party for now.
It's been 8 years under the All Progressive Congress. A new general election is imminent, and do we expect a change in government to the other three top political parties? We're here on the streets of Abuja to ask residents. I'm Titi Lokwe-Fadare for Premium Times.
My focus is person, not ethnic, not party for now. My focus, my interest is that leader that will change the story of an average Nigerian. That leader that will make food available for the common Nigerian. That leader that will make the atmosphere conducive for a northerner to go to the east and do his business comfortably and go back to his house, for a southerner to go to the north and do his business and go back to the south peacefully. It is that leader I am interested in, not where you come from.
It's not possible for PDP to take over in 2023.
Why?
The political game is this. Both APC and PDP, they are sitting on a dining table. PDP have eaten the goods of this country for 16 years. The other side of the political family is APC. They are in for 8 years. If they are anything to go by, they would like to remain there for another 8 years. Simply because, if you check, this cross-carpeting the campaign from here and there. It's vice versa. That is the major reason why APC, they will not like to relinquish power to PDP.
Well, that's a very nice question, but I am not God, I'm not a prophet. But I believe, because why did I say we believe that PDP will still come? You know, during the era of the return of democracy in 1999 by Olusegun Obasanjo, things were not too bad like this. Yaradua came. Things were trying to be very, very good because he was very, very humble. Then good luck now came to power. Them now, people say that they stole money, but I like their method of stealing the money because as they are stealing the money is still going out. The masses were benefiting. But this administration, I did not say they are totally bad. They are good in some other ways, but they claim to fight corruption. And some people that they form something that is called whistleblower. So sometimes they blow the whistle. I don't have a strong backup. They can still arrest you and you'll be affected negatively. So now they claim not to be fighting, not to be embezzling our funds. But still, they are embezzling it, but in a silent way. Is it not better for we to prefer PDP to come back to embezzle and spread the money outside?
I have not seen anything that PDP will be able to take over. No. They have not done and they have not put their house in order.
What better thing did APC achieve when there was no platform? The man that is the president is overwhelmed with what he saw in Nigeria. The platform is what I mean. See, that is my core issue presently as a Nigerian. The platform to work. Because if the platform to work was good, he would have been better off. But the platform was not there for him to work. And that platform is what we are supposed to discuss as Nigerians. We must come down to terms and work like that. If there is no better platform, the next person we are going to have will equally do the same thing. He cannot be better off than Buhari.
It's not possible. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. So PDP can't take over because PDP, if you look at what is happening now, you know, before you say you will go out to fight outsiders, you would have put your own house together. They can't even govern themselves. They can't even coordinate themselves. So are they coming to coordinate Nigerians? So, and if you look at what they have done in the past, I don't see any reason why PDP should come back to the. So that one is a no-go area.
Welcome back. This is still Premium Times Election Special. Still in the studio, Mr. Yakubu Lamai of APC and Frank Shaibu of PDP.
And his dear friend, Frank.
Okay, yeah, his dear friend, Frank Shaibu. Gentlemen, I want you guys to stay on the issue. Let's not deviate from the issue. Just stay on the issue. Let's discuss what we have come here to discuss. And that is the presidential campaign and the chances of your candidates. Please. So let me fire the next question. Mr. Shaibu, yes. The media has dubbed this election a 4-horse race. Did your experience on the campaign trail confirm or disprove this?
Well, I would say that as far as we are concerned, Atiku is the candidate to beat. Of course, the APC candidates, they are the ruling party. He has experience that I give to him and political structure because their party is in power. Then we have my friend and my brother, Peter Obi. Unfortunately, his spokesperson is not here. I was looking forward to having him here. You know. But as it is, then the NNPP, that's Rabiu Kwankwaso. I think the media, that position is a fair one, to call it a 4-horse race. But if you allow me, I'll tell you that it's a 2-horse race.
So between who and who?
It's the APC and the PDP and the APC. You know, and the APC, unfortunately, are already in the opposition because they are crying more than they read. You know, they are playing the role that ordinarily we should play. We are meant to be in opposition. But when you see members of the ruling party fighting their own president, you know that there's problem. So you see, the people are more. The level of awareness we have today is much more than what it used to be in 2015 when they came to power. You understand? So you can no longer manipulate the sensibilities of our people by telling them stories and making conjectures or telling them lies. They will hold you accountable. They will ask you questions. Oh, you said like they'll ask an article, for instance. We had a program for young people. And he said, look, I'm going to curb insecurity with education. And it's how are you going to do that? What is the correlation between insecurity and education? He said, wait for me. Yakubu, while we're in the university, if you remember vividly, when you want to apply to the university, when we wrote the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board exams, when you are filling out the form, you will see your choice of university. Yes, yes. First choice, second choice. Yeah. Unlike now, where Nigerian student is one of the most examined students in the world, the moment you pass your JAMB exams, you come straight with your results. Your list is on the board there in your department. You pay your little token as fees and all of that, and you're admitted to school. You do your registration. Then today, after passing the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board exams, you are subjected to writing what they call a post-UME exams. Now, look at this government. This one is unique and peculiar.
During the PDP government.
No, it does. But you see, there's something unique they are doing now that is an affront on our sensibility. And I'm sure even Yakubu is not aware. Where every student, it will interest Nigerians to know that every student in this country, after applying for JAMB, let me say about 1.9 million students write JAMB every year, apply for Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board exams every year. The carrying capacity of all the universities in Nigeria put together, all, including private universities, no more than 450,000. So if you take 450,000 students, that is the capacity to admit students. It should oscillate, and before now it was about 300,000. Now it should oscillate between 450, maybe a little to, if they stretch further, you will get about 600,000. Are you with me? Yeah. Now, if you take this away from 1.9 million students that write the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board examination, you are left with over 1.something million students roaming the streets. Now, the data there is simple. Now, look at something. The moment I write JAMB and Yakubu writes the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board exams, you are the father of Yakubu, while Amaka is my own mother. And we are neighbors. Yakubu gets admission to the University of Jos. Amaka returns from work. She meets me at home. You know, masticating a big bowl of pounded yam and ogbono soup. You know, I love ogbono soup from Kogi State. And she tells me, look at Yakubu, your friend, is now at the University of Jos. You are here eating my food every night. To a problem that is not mine. I was not given admission because the carrying capacity of the university is limited. What do they do to you? They tell you that, oh, you should go to another university to go and write their post-UME. You pay 3,500 naira. Every student is allowed to change choice of university 10 times. 3,500 multiplied by 10 will give you 35,000. When you multiply 35,000 by 1.9 million, you will get hundreds of billions of naira. In fact, if you write jam in this country, in the present under the present APC administration, to print they call it authentic original result. To print it is 1,500 naira. Now these monies are accrued to government, and the man will wake up and declare that, oh, he generated revenue of about 8 billion. We have reported that story.
Of course.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board is the act that established it, did not establish it as a revenue generating agency. If a man is doing so much to generate wealth for you guys, move him to the Board of Federal Internal Revenue Service and take him away from JAM.
So,
now,
Mr.
the danger is that,
okay.
you know the danger? The danger in that is that, because I need to land on that,
Okay.
the danger in that is that if you have this figure roaming the streets without gaining admission to university, parents will put pressure on the candidates. You have home and all of that. Because he knows that if the mother comes back from work and meets him doing nothing or eating or just watching television, the mother is going to talk. He starts hanging out late with his friends who are in the same genre. And before you know, they begin to get influence, go under what we call circumstantial influence. And that is why, if you notice the number of people, the number of young people who have been arrested for different crimes, ranging from banditry to armed robbery and kidnapping, have numerical preponderance over people above 45. And that is a dangerous trend for this generation.
So you are saying that
Yes.
this race is between the PDP and APC.
But the grace of God.
But
the APC are already in the opposition. So it makes the job easier for us. Atiku is president in waiting.
So
because the people have resolved that they have suffered enough. The people have resolved that they are tired. The people have resolved that they have cried too much.
So
the people have resolved that their hunger wants to even see, there's a level of hunger you will get to. That you will start having headache at the back of your head. That is the level Nigerians are now.
So, Mr. Lamai,
like I said to you, Frank is my brother. We're all in schools together. So I'd like to remind you that in your first segment, he answered twice and I answered once.
Oh, okay.
And you gave him the second time, you gave him the third time, and you honestly don't even keep track of the length he speaks.
Okay, of course. That's right. That's
because I have something to say.
Like came to you now.
You have nothing to say.
Let me say,
just allow him to land. Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
All right. Now, he's talked about, the level of, you look at the country first and foremost. Right now, we have over 200 million. And the projection is that maybe in about 10 years from now, the country would be like 400 million. So we'll soon be like the 8th most populous country in the entire world. And 70% are young people. Now, what has changed the political playbook of these elections is the young people that have shown interest. The young people between the ages, young people, even under 36, that have really gotten this new PVCs. And that shows you that, one, we have a country where our youth are beginning to become active and really participate in the political process. Now, how do we prepare for that? In the APC, from our manifesto, what was written in that manifesto is that our tilt completely would be that we want to create the kind of economy that depends on the youth rather than our oil, their hopes, their talents, their potentials. Now, if we backtrack a little bit and look at the cogent, factual records of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, between 1999 and 2005, the reason he got the Millennium Goal Award of Sustainable Development was because of the fact that he created the kind of economy.
When was that? When he was in power as governor?
When he was in power as governor in 1999.
He's still in power.
As governor at
Yes,
that time.
he's still in power.
Well, let's look at that other record. The whole thing is, at that particular time, Lagos became the magnet of the entire country. Small as it was, it became the country that attracted and magnetized the largest proportion of young people because there was space for them to grow, to be educated, to gain vocational skills, and all of which were part and parcel of the sort of programs that he initiated at that particular time. The evidence is very clear for that particular period that Asiwaju, was in Lagos, and he brought that particular experience into this particular manifesto. So if you have a country with 200 million people, and maybe you even say that the police itself is maybe just about 400,000 people, you know that the country for years has been running on deficit of schools, deficit of employment, deficit of so many aspects. The things to do, therefore, which has started, is to see how you can build upon vocational skills. All the social investment programs of this current administration, all the trader money, all the market money, and those sort of programs that have been done are things that you can actually build upon.
So, Mr. Lama, you don't believe that this election will go into a runoff? You don't believe?
No, I think that for me, it wouldn't go into a runoff.
You believe that your candidate will win?
Certainly, I believe
outright.
The thing is, my brother here acknowledged and agreed that it's a two-horse race. I honestly want to give kudos to Labour Party, and like I began to talk about the young people who are riding on the tidal wave of so much sentiment, especially on social media. But the thing is that young people have now broadened up the base of people that will vote. But it doesn't mean that it's a four-horse.
They have nothing to say. It's just about a man being a sore loser, and in the presidential primaries, and he now decided to have his friends who have their own ambition buried in his ambition.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to take a quick break again. When we come back, we discuss other things before we shut down.
Hi, welcome to Premium Times Election Special. I'm Titi Lokwe Fadari. On this show, we bring to you fact checks, explainers, analysis surrounding the 2023 general elections. And before we go into the main segment, I'll be sharing with you some trending political stories making the round. I start on a gloomy note with the death of the Labour Party Enugu East senatorial candidate, Oyibochukwu, who was killed by gunmen on Wednesday evening alongside 5 supporters who were inside his vehicle. The killing comes barely 3 days before the senatorial election, which is scheduled to be held this Saturday, 25 February. May his soul rest in peace. The second political story is an analysis published by Premium Times on the vague promises made by candidates of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the rule of law. Based on Premium Times' review of their manifestos, there is little assurance that the deterioration of the rule of law and human rights on the watch of the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari administration will be better addressed when they take over. Lastly, all 18 registered political parties in Nigeria on Wednesday signed a peace pact on the 2023 general elections in Abuja. The pact entails that all political parties accept the outcome of the elections or seek legitimate means of redress in the event of divergent positions. Next up is my colleague Festus Owete, who will be interviewing spokesperson of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the already concluded presidential campaigns. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Premium Times Election Special. I'm Titi Lokwe Fadari. On this show, we bring to you fact checks, explainers, analysis surrounding the 2023 general elections. And before we go into the main segment, I'll be sharing with you some trending political stories making the round. I start on a gloomy note with the death of the Labour Party Enugu East senatorial candidate, Oyibochukwu, who was killed by gunmen on Wednesday evening alongside 5 supporters who were inside his vehicle. The killing comes barely 3 days before the senatorial election, which is scheduled to be held this Saturday, 25 February. May his soul rest in peace. The second political story is an analysis published by Premium Times on the vague promises made by candidates of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the rule of law. Based on Premium Times' review of their manifestos, there is little assurance that the deterioration of the rule of law and human rights on the watch of the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari administration will be better addressed when they take over. Lastly, all 18 registered political parties in Nigeria on Wednesday signed a peace pact on the 2023 general elections in Abuja. The pact entails that all political parties accept the outcome of the elections or seek legitimate means of redress in the event of divergent positions. Next up is my colleague Festus Owete, who will be interviewing spokesperson of the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP on the already concluded presidential campaigns. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Premium Times Election Special. I'm Titi Lokwe Fadari. On this show, we bring to you fact checks, explainers, analysis surrounding the 2023 general elections. And before we go into the main segment, I'll be sharing with you some trending political stories making the round. I start on a gloomy note with the death of the Labour Party Enugu East senatorial candidate. You will not come out again.
Back. If you are just joining us, this is Premium Times Election Special. We still have in the studio Mr. Yakubu Lamai of APC and Frank Shaib of the PDP. Yeah, Mr. Lamai. We want you to. Do you really agree that this election will not go into a runoff? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I implicitly, completely, 100% believe it will not go into runoff. I believe that our candidate would win, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He would win, against, of course, our main contender, that's Atiku Abubakar. But of course, the political landscape will change, with the coloration of the votes, the new votes that will come in. And it's very good for this country that everyone is interested, because I think we're on a journey, and the sentiments that people are actually showing, sentiments of, you even have to go back to the title sentiments of even NSAS and, people's frustrations about so many things in this particular country, and what we have missed, even in our over 60-year journey as a country. But I think the biggest part is making the country one that accommodates inclusivity and brings in everybody to do what they're doing. So basically, the election would not go into runoff. I also think before we perhaps go back to my colleague, democracy allows everybody to speak. And what President Muhammadu Buhari has been doing is to play the role of a father that pretends over this particular election without, really over pressing and pushing the populace towards his own candidate. Now, the essence of a very robust democracy is you get people to be able to ventilate and to speak. The governors of APC weren't in any way being disrespectful to the president of the country when they took the legal route of going to the Supreme Court. Every life matters in this country, and the hardship that people were feeling, the Naira swap or the design of the Naira, has been one that is, even if a person is a member of the party, And that same person would cry out. Now, when he referred to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu speaking, at a particular rally in Abeokuta and say, okay, look, this thing is targeted at him. The essence
and I said, a few columnists in the federal government trying to derail his election.
Do you remember there was a governor, a lady who was a lady called Mama Taraba of blessed late memory. You remember when she was minister, and she said, her relationship, her loyalty, her relationship was really with Atiku. You remember at that time? And a lot of people jumped the gun and were saying, the president should sack the minister because she said, no, but why? She's had a long-standing relationship. He's a political mentor, and she's actually showing that it doesn't really clash with the work that she is doing for government. So sometimes, I think in this country, what's been happening for a very long time is we're trenchant, as in saying, me, I am APC. Who says I won't go and have a pepper soup, with Frank later on, in spite of all of this conversation? It's one and the same country. It's the same country that we have, and it belongs to all of us. And the founding fathers of this country stated in the clarion call, of our anthem that, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood, we are one and the same. But because we're such a huge country with such a large population, sometimes our voices are, there's so much conflict and it's discordant and so on and so forth. So basically, let's, we take in the diversity of each of ourselves, including even extreme views. Even the G5 governors that he's talking about that are in the PDP, are respected people who are respected within their particular states. Now, the thing, therefore, is whatever they say, how they say it, they should try as much as whatever they do should be one that should not make the entire polity implode. So it's a question of conversations that would make the democracy more robust.
Mr. Lama, I want to know, have you done anything? Is there anything you have done to neutralize the efforts of these fifth columnists you're talking about?
No, you see, the thing is that within a government, some say government of national unity, some say the minute you leave being a candidate, you become maybe the president or the governor. You have to work with everybody. You have to do your development, even where you were not voted. You have to bring people who are staunch opposition or people from different political parties. And then you have to bring others who may be with you, but it's like sleeping with the enemy. It doesn't mean you would have a divorce. You would bring the person and carry the person along. So in every government, within the nexus of power, you have what you call a cabal. You have people whose interests may be divergent from you, who is perhaps the lead driver. But that is, again, the kind of diversity that we need to manage as a country because of the way our country is. You wouldn't drive, so you allow every side to speak. And is this process of speaking that took the governors to the Supreme Court? So everybody checkmates the other, as if we're playing the game of chess. You understand? You play the game of chess without bringing knives and fighting yourself. And say, look, I don't agree with this. And if this is not going to happen, I would look for legal recourse.
In essence, the party is intact.
Oh, certainly, the party is intact.
All right, but before Mr. Ashaibu comes in, there's something I want to know. People are afraid that the pains being fed by Nigerians, across the country, all over the place, over the implementation of the currency redesign policy of the CBN has eroded the support of your candidate. Is that the true situation?
Every time people are in pain, sincere, genuine pain.
But they're not more in pains now than...
No, you see, some policies, it's almost like taking, for instance, the issue about removal of subsidy. I watched a particular interview where Atiku Abubakar was talking about it. And he referred to the fact that you need political will for you to be able to remove petroleum subsidy, because we're a country that is generally poor. And because you have that, you want to cushion that particular effect. There are people who would not get a kobo or two. But then in the long run, this particular, naira redesign or swap or confiscation,
whatever,
even the Boko Haram bandits. Even kidnappers are now on break. Because you have to ask them, well, if they kidnap, you may need to send the money to them by account, by their phone or something, or their account, and then you track them. So everybody has rested. I know that it is difficult. You cannot move from a country that hasn't practiced cashless policy to one overnight. Now, the speed, the frenetic, frantic speed with which this process is going on, that's where the bad implementation is. And that is what is causing all of this collateral damage. And that was what Asiwaju spoke about, because he felt by inflicting such pains, it would affect generally him in particular, the APC, because it's the APC that is in government. So you see, it's an internal argument that is happening.
It will not affect his chances. No. In clear terms.
Well, the thing is, we're appealing to the people to reason, and the president himself is also being appealed to. And as you can see, there have been intercessions, and the president himself, at a point in time, the president acts on advice, and he got some advice from the CBN governor. But after a while now, they're saying 200 naira note would go on, and so on and so forth. And the Supreme Court is managing just so that we can ease the pain of the people.
Okay, Mr. Shaibu, I recall that your candidate at some point supported the currency redesign policy. I want to believe that has drawn the anger of many voters. Do you? No, okay. Well, maybe.
That's not correct. When you say he supported the Naira redesign policy, he had just said so. The policy is good. Nigeria is not the first country to do currency redesign. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what he said clearly, in unambiguous terms, was the fact that, look, beautiful policy, but please do not allow it affect the people. And at the time he spoke to it, it was in reaction to the candidate of the APC, who claimed that the core policy was designed by the federal government in cahoots with even Atiku Abubakar.
Is that so?
Oh, please, you have internet facility here. You can use Google. You just Google that, run a Google check. You can fact check me. Both the candidate and his agents spoke at multiple fora that some persons within the presidency, are you with me, were working in collusion with the candidate of the PDP. In fact, at a point, we responded to them and said, and I told them, in person, I told them, look, maybe the next time Bola Tinubu's wife refuses to sleep with him, they would even say that it's Atiku that created the problem, that's stopping his wife from sleeping with him. Because you see, Atiku has not been in power since 2007. And Atiku spoke in clear terms, and look, this policy is okay, but we need a slight extension. He requested a slight extension. That was the first statement he issued. And when we saw that the candidate of the APC jumped into the fray with all their governors, casting aspersion on the president, the president had said on different occasions, and look, President Muhammadu Buhari, approved the currency redesign policy. Even at a point where the Minister of Finance complained that she was not aware, the president said he approved. And in his last broadcast to declare support for the candidate of the APC, he still stated, when he addressed the nation before traveling out of the country for the AU meeting, he said he kept on using I approved. I approved. So what it means is that the President Muhammadu Buhari is the cabal they are referring to. He's a one-man cabal. You understand me? I don't want us to be economical with the truth, particularly because Nigerians are watching us. This is a premium channel and a premium platform. It is not enough to say that the governors went to ventilate. No. The president made a broadcast, and APC governors in their respective states made counter broadcasts and gave counter directives. Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State, for instance, you are aware, and it was reported even by your medium, when he made a broadcast to his people. And yes, the president said they should take only 200 naira, that they should take all the nominations. And that when APC comes to power, they are going to abolish or the policy. And any bank that refuses to accept the money should be reported, they will revoke their CFOs and all that. And those were the kind of comments that emboldened irate youths who started destroying banks, started riots in different locations across the country. So it was not just about Governor El-Rufai. We had other governors who made those kind of comments. And they all came from APC governors, casting aspersion on the president, hiding under the use of the word cabal to attack the man and the policy that was created and formulated by the APC, in which a party that its own presidential candidate is the leader and has been the leader of that party for 7.5 years plus. So the candidates and its leaders cannot feign ignorance of the policy. These same leaders who are saying today that oh, they love Nigerians, where were they when ASU was on strike for 8 to 9 months? When our children were at home for 8 to 9 months? I am not sure any APC governor in Nigeria, or their progressive governors forum as a body, raised any, issued a statement or raised a petition to the president to see how they could bring a closure to the crisis in our universities. When the issue of kidnapping, bombing, killing of defenseless citizens became the order of the day, particularly in some northern states and some other states in Nigeria, we never heard the voices of any of the APC governors. At some point, with profound respect, at some point, road transport to Kaduna, air transport, and rail transport were all cut off. The APC governors even rallied around their brother governor, El-Rufai, to say, no, Mr. President, you have to declare a state of emergency on security. Nothing like that happened. If you love our people so much, these same people, it is just simply because they do not have access to this cash they have stockpiled. When Mr. President said only 200 naira notes should be used, let me tell you something, Festus. A governor of a state cannot go to a bank and he'll be giving 200 naira notes, even if they want to withdraw money. They are the ones in possession of 1,000 naira notes and 500 naira notes. The president was smart. He knows that, look, like this, like the party, the APC has said that, look, this man has failed. They have been campaigning as if they are in the, that's why I said, when I said they were campaigning as if they were in the opposition, you don't know where I'm headed. It is because they have failed to campaign with what they call his legacy. This is the first time I'm hearing, and I commend Yakubu Lamai, because he's truthful to some extent. When he said, look, we want to, you know, this is not the person I used to know. You understand? I know that this job, you see, this job
has changed.
No. It's the system that has changed. Okay. You know, there is no way if you work with performance.
Of course, it's your time. Let him land. In 1 second, we land. Okay, in 1 second.
You see, the life only this thing. Yeah. The candidate say it is his stop. Now he's in the student say it is his time. How can you do your time? What's speaking to Nigerians? Well, he has affected him already. It is not your time.
All right, just round off.
Now, we see with profound respect. Yakubu was, truthful to some extent when he said, "Oh, we want to continue the legacy of Muhammadu Buhari." It's the first time we would hear that. Throughout their campaigns, instead they keep attacking the policies of this man. Even he was. Let me give you one example. He was in one of the universities some weeks ago, and he spoke in the Yoruba language. How students that never again were able to spend many years in school. That in fact, when he becomes president, in 8 years, they will spend 8 years in the university.
Okay.
Are you with me? That is an affront on the policy of President Muhammadu Buhari. He was in Calabar. He attacked the same policy of President Muhammadu Buhari, a party that he is a leader. So they have been campaigning as if they were in the opposition. Now, when Nigerians have been suffering for 7.5 years, you never raise issues to defend these Nigerians. Now, because you no longer have access to 1,000 naira and 500 naira notes, old notes that they have stockpiled in different locations. That is why they are hiding under the sensibilities and the pains Nigerians are going through. And we are saying, look, we have been enduring the pains of APC for 7.5 years.
Mr. Shaibu,
We have suffered enough.
Sorry,
Nigerians have suffered enough.
Yeah.
And because they suffered enough, it is not this cry of 3 days to 2 days to election, 1 day to election that we save the do not APC.
Mr. Shaibu,
Nigerians have rejected
we're actually running out of time.
Nigerians have rejected them, and Atiku will be president.
But one question.
Yes, please.
One more question
Please.
for the two of you. Okay, you want to respond to that?
No, I responded to him.
No,
I just responded to him. How can you respond to me?
Okay, you want to clarify some issues? Okay, just briefly.
We're having,
Okay,
brotherly
please.
conversation.
Yes, of course.
Just to put the record straight, El-Rufai is one person, and I'm sure you, Festus, with your journalistic background, will recall how many times El-Rufai kept speaking at that particular time when he was under siege. He said he was not one person who liked negotiating with these people. They should bombard them, kill them, and all of that. Secondly, the question that APC governors have not spoken is, that's honestly is just a figment of imagination. There's so much that has been going on. You can't be in the same country and then say, that no APC governor spoke during the issue of the ASU strike. And then
did they come together?
Now, hold on. And about building on the legacies of Buhari, the campaign structure of the APC has a third leg, apart from the town hall, which APC and Asiwaju started.
What was that third leg?
The third leg is what you call the APC Professionals Forum, where we distill the manifesto of the candidate and then link it with what has actually already happened. There were, 2 editions of it. Frank is aware of it.
I'm not aware of it.
Is
it was it a town hall? You are. No, if it was a town hall, different.
All right, let's turn the issue.
I'm sure it was there. So basically, the issue of saying that we've not been building on is again something that's really is something that is unrealistic actually, because of that particular leg.
Okay, Mr. Shaibu,
yes,
please, you are not going to respond because he has just responded. Now, just one question for the two of you, and then we shut down. Yes. Now, I'm going to start with you. Yeah. If you are asked to name 4 zones that your candidate is confident of winning, what would be the zones your candidate is confident of winning of the 6 geopolitical zones?
Of course, the Southwest, the Northeast, the Northwest.
You mentioned Northeast?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I mentioned Northeast, where
Shetima comes from. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Certainly. I'm also mentioning Northeast.
Northeast, okay.
And I'm also talking about North Central as well.
So you believe it cannot win in South? And
I think that, and this is where the interesting, caveat of the Labour Party, and I do not want to speak because the spokesperson is not here.
Okay.
Now, I know that Labour Party has ridden on so many tidal waves of everything, NSAS and so on and so forth, and also IPOP as well. The fact that IPOP, is seeking for, a Biafran country, and Peter Obi has not categorically said that he who is trying to be the leader of the entire country finds anything. He's not brought them together to say, look, let's forget this fight with the segments. Let's build the whole first of all, and so on and so forth. So obviously and evidently, in the South East, where you find there are days that people are not supposed to go out, where you find that they're saying that elections would not hold, where you find IPOP actually burning or
security
whatever it
challenges,
is.
yeah.
You have security challenges, those that are burning INEC offices and so on and so forth. You said 4 zones, and I have given you 4.
All right, Mr. Shaibu.
You see, because I'm going to answer this question from a different perspective, or from a different angle, because we have seen the desperation of the APC and their candidates, and as such, we will keep our strengths to ourselves, to our hearts. What I know is that we will win majority votes and get 25% in more than 25% in more than 25 states. in addition to our majority votes. But where the zones, where our strength will come from is not a subject for public consumption, because sometimes we tactically withdraw so that we can strategically advance. We have seen the desperation. They know that there is a problem. They know they have a problem on their hands, and that's why they've been crying, jumping from one place to the other. They leave the courts, they declare a republic in Kaduna, declare another republic, in different locations. So we know what the issue is. They know that there is a problem. And that's why even when they go on campaign, on the campaign trails, of course, the professionals, nobody knows about the professionals. It's the candidate that we want to...
The third leg.
Yes, the third leg. Nobody knows about the third leg. He says, I know him. I just heard it for the first time. It's about the candidate. The one who is seeking employment is the candidate. Vice President Atiku Abubakar is the one seeking employment. He's the one to be interrogated. He's the one to be interviewed. Are you with me? He does not delegate. He does not. I'm not sure you have seen Atiku move from one church to the other like other candidates do to go and campaign, or move from one mosque to the other. He is not a religious bigot. But we know candidates who do that. Now, the limitation that we get, which is why when you are talking about other candidates apart from the APC and the PDP, some of these candidates have their limitations. If I worship in a church, I'm a pastor. Some of these pastors believe that they place themselves or equate themselves and their positions to the position of the Almighty. My belief is in God Almighty and not in the man of God before me. So a pastor says, look, this is who I want you to support. And he wants to break down on your neck to say, look, you must vote for this. If I pay my tithes in that church, I will simply walk away, because democracy gives me a freedom of choice. Do you understand? And that's why it is a pity that those who have been riding on the back of religious bigotry to ride to Aso Rock Villa will crash like a pack of cards.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for coming. This is where we wrap up for today. We thank you for... you are still friends.
Yes. Tell us to shake hands.
You are going to shake hands. You're going to shake hands.
Are we sending a piece of code?
Yeah, but we hate to go now. But we believe that by tomorrow you will join us for another edition.
No problem. Whether the cock crows or not, the sun was nice, and I think we'll be president.
All right. Thank you.
Somebody will give you appointment in the next government.
Good evening.
We want to say
good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming.